Hey guys, it's Sylviaworsham. Welcome to Mindful Mondays and welcome to the segment on Be a Model of Love and Grace. And I posted on all my social media channels about how love can truly transform a family, a blended family, if you will, because I talked about ex-husbands and former spouses. And, that can always be a very hard situation to be in, especially when you marry and you blend your families. And so this video is really for you if you find yourself in that transition of having divorced and then working out custody agreements and really appealing to your former spouse's higher selves. And so let me give you some background information so you understand and follow me in this story and how love can truly transform your family. When my first husband and I divorced, hi, Traveler Mass from Seattle. When my husband and I divorced in 2008, our son was about 4 years old, and it was very bitter, and there's a lot of anger and resentment there. And then when I met my second husband and moved to Austin from South Texas, that's a 6-hour drive, I, right before we got married, got papers in the mail, basically being told I was being sued by my ex-husband who wanted to change the custody agreement. So you could imagine, the week you're getting remarried and getting papers, that's not really appealing, to the love and grace full side of any relationship. That's just adding more fuel to the fire. And as time went on, it got worse and worse until my daughter was born, until my now 6-year-old daughter was born, and 6 years ago, right? And being a young child and non-judgmental, she, by the time she could speak, would refer to my son's dad as Uncle Fred. That was her Uncle Fred. And she included him in all of her paintings, like family portraits that she would draw up, as a little kid. And you could see it started to transform him. It started to change him. Her love started to really, truly transform him. And her 4th birthday came about, and we were going to celebrate it here at the house. And it fell on the same weekend that he had his court-appointed visitation with our boy in Austin. So I talked to my husband, Donnie, and I said, hey, I really want Andres to be part of his sister's party. What do you think of inviting Fred over? And he's like, yes, let's do it. And you have to have some background information on my second husband. Donnie came from a divorced family as well. And his stepdad had been a model of love and grace. And he had seen that growing up. And so he was a model of love and grace. And that's tip number 1, be a model of love and grace. Every time that my former spouse would come to the door to pick up our boy, and they would talk football, and he always made him feel welcome and at home. And he went back to his modeling of how he saw his stepdad, relate to his dad, despite that divorce being bitter and resentful as well. So you have to be the model of love and grace. You want to model what it is that you want to see in your relationships with others. Be that change first, right? So I got lucky in that I married very well the second time around, and he was a model of love and grace. The second tip I'm going to leave you with is appeal to their higher self when you have interactions with your spouses, former spouses. When we got sued and I was in negotiations with him, I would talk to Fred and say, hey, Fred, I know you love our boy. I know you want the best for him. Let's try to work out a plan that keeps his interests up front and center. Let's not make it about you or I. And I kept appealing to his higher self. And let me explain what that means. 2 selves that exist inside of you. You have the ego self and you have the soulful self. And one is you want to balance between the two. You don't want your ego to overtake those conversations, because ego, once again, is where your subconscious programming exists, and it's also where your limiting beliefs are at. So if you have limiting beliefs of not being enough or not trusting yourself, and you're adding all of that, and you're adding that ego into your conversation. So appeal to their soulful self, appeal to that side of them that can be loving, that can be graceful, that can be. And that's how I dealt with him in negotiations. And the third and final tip I'll leave with you is release all your resistance to God. let go of anything that's truly keeping you from moving on in your life. And one of the ways I do this very effectively is through meditation. And I have on my phone, I have an application called Insight Timer. And I will pick whatever meditation appeals to me that morning, and I will get into a deep meditative state. And in my visualization, meaning I'm using my imagination, the power of my imagination, to visualize standing in the middle of a tornado and envisioning all these feelings that are really hurting me getting pulled out of my body into this tunnel, into this tornado where God is waiting to receive it in heaven and saying, give it to me. Because we were created by God to be geniuses. I mean, we have so much genius inside of us, yet we leave it almost untapped because we're so concerned and wrapped up in ego identities sometimes that we can't move forward harmoniously and live joyfully in life. And as we get older, that becomes more and more important. You don't want to spend all your time and energy being bitter and angry and resentful, because it just pulls you down, guys, and it pulls everybody else down. It pulls your kids down. I mean, here we are trying to co-parent our 15-year-old son now, and it's important for everybody involved to let go of those feelings of resentment. I'm Sylviaworsham, your host of Mindful Mondays. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to use the chat to ask me the questions, or I will certainly return the chat. If I'm not available, I will certainly respond to your question as soon as I can. If there's a topic that you would like for me to create a video around, I am here to be of service to my entire YouTube community that supports these videos. And I will be leaving the link to my YouTube channel in the chat below. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I've got multiple videos on there for Mindful Mondays and for Focus Fridays. And Focus Fridays was a video series that that I created, and that let me just type my email here where somebody can send me questions. Focus Fridays was done. It started almost 2 years ago, and then I switched the schedule around in March of this year to be now called Mindful Mondays, because I wanted to be able to have these tips available at the beginning of the week and not at the end when people are already like wanting to, check out. So now they're called Mindful Mondays, but there's a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe to it, please, and share my videos if you find these useful. I'd really appreciate the support. And I also have a show called Let's Get Raw and Real. It's a live stream show. This month, I invited Tia Costello, who is Hungry Vegan Mama. She is a YouTube influencer and Instagram influencer, and she had written just a 28-day guide on transitioning to a plant-based meal plan, which is supposed to be very healthy for you. Her interview was just posted on my YouTube channel on Wednesday night, this past Wednesday. So feel free to review all that information. There's a lot of valuable information for all of you guys. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, Traveler Mask, who is listening via Periscope, for listening to this video. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Love y'all. Bye now.